Hello, my fellow gamers and horror film fans. Welcome back into the Chrono Cabin, and welcome back to the Weekend Watch and Play edition. That's right, everyone. It is the weekend once again, and this is where I love to talk to you about all the horror content I will be watching and all the video games I will be playing over the weekend. Now, the two Shudder originals that I watched last weekend were actually pretty good. I enjoyed them quite a bit. If you want to see which movies I'm talking about, check last weekend's video out here. We are making this an Amazon Prime Video streaming weekend, so both the movies that I'm talking about are streaming on Amazon Prime Video. We're also going to have a mountain theme, as you will see. Now, we'll get to the games after I talk about the two horror films I will be watching. So the first one is The Wolf of Snow Hollow. A stressed out police officer struggles not to give in to the paranoia that grips his small mountain town as bodies turn up after each full moon. Hear that? This is a werewolf movie. Now, this looks to be a horror comedy, so I think it's more in the fun realm. I mean, at least from watching the trailer, that's what I'm getting, because the dialogue in the trailer is pretty funny. Now, the location itself looks pretty nice, and you know I'm all about locations. It was actually filmed in Camas, Utah. Definitely a very pretty part of the United States. Based on the trailer, the production value looks really, really good. I feel like I haven't seen a werewolf movie in a long time, so I'm kind of excited to dive into this one. Who knows, maybe werewolves are coming back. Been watching a lot of vampire movies lately, but not werewolf movies, so we'll see how this one is. Now, next we go to Switzerland. This film is called Teifelste, an Alpine horror tale. After a serious car accident, Michael Dorn wakes up in a remote mountain village in the Swiss Alps. Severe storms have cut the place off from the outside world. Plagued by bad nightmares, Michael uncovers sinister machinations from the past when the villagers made a pact
with the devil.
To survive, he must not only break the village's curse, but face ghosts of his own past. So this is a horror, suspense, supernatural thriller from Switzerland. Now, I haven't seen a lot of horror content come out of Switzerland, so this one, you might say, is kind of new for me. So we'll see what Switzerland has to offer when it comes to horror. Initially, I thought this might have something to do with Yetis, and Mr. Yeti got really excited. So I was kind of sorry to have to let him down. And I do invite Mr. Yeti in to watch movies sometimes, but his stench is terrible. I usually have to get blinding drunk to forget about the smell, but then I forget about the movie too, so I don't invite him over too often. But no Yetis in this Alpine horror movie. It's also shot in a beautiful location. You can't go wrong with the Swiss Alps. This movie might be better to watch around wintertime if you're in the mood for some seasonal winter horror, but hey, I like to live on the edge, so why not watch it now? Both of these movies, again, are streaming on Amazon Prime Video. Now, let's get into the gaming. I actually started a new game. It's not a new game per se, it's been out for a while, but it's new to me. I am playing Death's Door on PS5. You take on the role of a small crow who works as a reaper, collecting souls for the Reaping Commission headquarters. So this crow spends his afterlife working in a bureaucratic office. And there is more to the Reaping Commission headquarters. There is a strange disappearance of crows, and your little crow character gets wrapped up into finding the truth. So far, I'm just a few hours into the game, but my initial impressions are I really like it. The art style is very simplistic and very stylistic, but very effective. The music is really wonderful, and I'll mention more about that in a minute, but I wasn't sure if I would like this game. Luckily, I found it on sale, so I got this pretty cheap, and you can probably find this game on sale at some point. I heard that this game is very difficult, so it is a little roguelike, and I'm usually not a big fan of roguelike games. Why? Just because I find them really difficult, and they're just too difficult for me, and I'm just that kind of gamer. Now, this game is difficult, and it is roguelike, and a lot of people have related it to a Zelda game meets a Souls-like game, and I can definitely see that, and I definitely see the Zelda aspect of it, because there are some of these puzzles that you have to solve to open up various gates, little things like that, but it's also just the feel of the game too. And it is Souls-like in the fact, I guess, because it is tough. I die a lot, and I have to try again. But I'm not finding myself getting irritated at this game at all. I'm actually finding myself somewhat relaxed in a roguelike setting, if you can believe that. Part of that has to do with the music. The music in this game is absolutely magnificent. The music tends to get me into kind of a trance, so when I'm actually playing some pretty hard bosses, I'm actually kind of just in the moment. I'm kind of relaxed. I'm just kind of feeling the music, and I am playing, and I'm actually doing quite well. I'm actually passing these really difficult bosses. Now, I don't think this is as hard as some of the Soul games. I really don't. Okay, so it's probably a little on the easier side, but it is tough. And another thing that I really like about this game is just the overall character design. It's some really interesting characters. Like in one part, you actually fight this kind of ghostly castle, and it looks really cool. I mean, it's just a really well done game. And the game just plays really, really well. Now, initially, this game came out on the Xbox One, the Xbox Series S, X, and PC, but it has now come out to the Nintendo Switch, and it's also on the PS4 and PS5. Again, I'm playing it on my PS5. I'm sure it looks just as great on a PS4, so if you don't have a PS5, it's one that you could easily pick up and play on your PS4. I think you'll have just as great of an experience with it. And actually, it's not a very long game, so you can probably finish this game like within 10 hours, maybe 8 hours. At least that's what I've heard. So another game I want to talk about is the Guardians of the Galaxy, and if you watched last weekend's Weekend Watch and Play edition, I mentioned that game last weekend. Well, I finished the game, and the reason I'm bringing it up is some of you may have heard that Square Enix sold off all of its Western divisions, which is kind of surprising to a lot of people, and they sold it for $300 million, which seemed like a pretty low cost. I watched Spawnwave on YouTube. Check out his channel. I have a link to the video that I will be referencing below, so you can check it out. Give him some love, because great channel for video game news. But in one of his recent videos, he was talking about how Square Enix lost $200 million over two Marvel titles. And those two titles were Guardians of the Galaxy, but it was also The Avengers. Now, The Avengers came out first, and The Avengers was a live service game. I wasn't really interested in playing it. I like The Avengers, but I'm not a big fan of live service games. There are exceptions to that rule for me, but in this case, I just didn't feel like it'd be the game for me, so I never bought it. Also, it got really bad reviews. The game got very, very bad reviews. I don't listen to reviews a lot, but overall, just gamers were saying it wasn't a very good gaming experience. The game sold terribly, and it just was not a very well put together game. But that leads me to Guardians of the Galaxy, because Spawnwave had a good point, and he was saying that Guardians of the Galaxy got kind of lumped into the disastrous sales of The Avengers, and The Avengers was just not a very well put together game, so people just assumed the Guardians of the Galaxy was not going to be a very good game either. Now, Guardians of the Galaxy is not live service at all. It's actually a action-driven narrative game, and I gotta say, I feel kind of bad that Guardians of the Galaxy actually got lumped in with The Avengers, because the game is really good. And I felt like this game would have sold a lot better had it not been for the bad rollout of The Avengers. So Spawnwave talks about this. There's more detail to that. You can check out his video. But yeah, from start to finish, I really enjoyed the Guardians of the Galaxy. I highly recommend this game. I played it on PS5. It was a really good experience on the PS5. Probably you can play it on the PS4 and have the same experience. I don't think there's any benefit to having a PS5 to play this game, but it really is just a fun game, start to finish. Can't recommend it enough. Sorry to hear that the sales were so bad on this game, because I don't think it really deserved to be lumped in with a bad game. Another thing about this game is it doesn't take very long to pass. It's not a very long game. So if you're kind of in between games, it's a great game to play. Even if you're not into Marvel or you're not into the Guardians of the Galaxy, this game is still fun. So I highly recommend it, and I'm sure you could easily find this for sale anywhere. So this could be a game that you can pick up at pretty low cost. Anyway, moving on, I'm still playing Pokemon Legends Arceus. Yes, I've been playing this game for months now, but you know, I gotta be honest, I'm not rushing through it. I'm really just taking my time. I find this game very relaxing, and I am just playing it a little bit at a time, going out and catching Pokemon just to level up. In fact, if you've never played a JRPG, if you're interested in getting into RPGs or JRPGs, I really recommend diving into this one, because even if you're not a Pokemon fan of old and you're completely new to Pokemon, it's a really great game to jump into, but it really kind of teaches you the mechanics of RPGs and JRPGs, the idea of leveling up, gaining experience. And I have to say, it's great for kids and adults. I mean, honestly, I'm a full-on grown man playing this game, and I'm really enjoying it. And I'm proud to say it because I've never played Pokemon before this game, and this game was a great way for me to kind of enter into that Pokemon world. Very friendly to get into. You don't have to know any backstory or anything like that. Actually, it's funny. This game is a prequel. So it's kind of like you're playing the first Pokemon. I know that's weird to say, but it is technically a prequel to all of the Pokemon games that have come before. But anyway, I definitely recommend picking this up either for your kids or for yourself. I mean, why not? Treat yourself, right? It's the weekend. Happy weekend, everyone. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, or if you didn't like it, give it a thumbs down. But if you like the content on my channel, please subscribe, and you can always ring that bell for future notifications whenever I release new content. As always, keep watching those video games. Keep watching those video games. I messed up my own tagline. Keep watching those horror movies. Keep playing those video games, and I will see you soon.